So next I'd like to spend a few minutes on talking about how Red Hat is working to catalyze our customers' efforts. Marco Belpeter, our Senior Vice President of Customer Experience and Engagement, and John Alessio, our Vice President of Global Services, will both describe areas in how we are working to configure our own organization to effectively engage with our customers to use open source to help drive their success. So with that, I'd like to welcome Marco on stage.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Jim. So I want to spend a few minutes to talk about how we are configured towards your success, how we enable internally as well to work towards your success and actually engage as well. You know, Paul yesterday talked about the open source culture, now open source development model. You know, there's a lot of attributes that we have, like transparency, meritocracy, collaboration. Those are the key of our culture. They made Red Hat what it is today and what it will be in the future. But we also added our passion for customer success to that. Let me tell you, this is kind of the configuration from a cultural perspective. Let me tell you a little bit on what that means. So you heard the name, my organization is Customer Experience and Engagement, right? In the past, we talked a lot about support. It's an important part of Red Hat, right? And how we are configured probably very uniquely in the industry. We put support together, we have product security in there, we added documentation, we added quality engineering into an organization. You think it's like, wow, why are they doing it? We're also running actually the IT team for actually the product teams. Why are we doing that? Now, you can imagine, right? We want to go through what you see as well, right? And I give you a few examples on what's coming out of this configuration. We invest more and more in testing integration and use cases which you are applying. So you can see it between the support team experiencing a lot what you do and actually changing our test structure. That makes a lot of sense. We are investing more and more testing outside the boundaries. So not exactly how things was thought by product management or engineering, but also how does it really run in an environment that you operate. We run complex setups internally, right? Taking OpenShift, putting in OpenStack, using software-defined storage underneath, managing it with CloudForms, managing it with Insights. We do that. We want to see how that works, right? We are reshaping documentation constantly to kind of help you better instead of just documenting features and knobs, as in how do you want to achieve things. Now, part of this is the configuration. The other big part of the configuration is the voice of the customer, to listen to what you say. I've been here at Red Hat a few years, and one of my passions has always been really hearing from customers how they do it. I travel constantly in the world. I meet with customers because I want to know what is really going on. We use channels like support. We use channels like getting from salespeople, the interaction from customers. We do surveys. We do, we interact with our people to really hear what you do. What we also do, what maybe not many know, and it's also very unique in the industry, we have a web page called You Ask, We Acted. We show very transparently, you told us this is an area for improvement. And it's not just in support, it's across the company, right? Build us a better web store, build us this. We're very transparent about, hey, this is improvements we want to do with you. Now, if you want to be part of the process today, go to the feedback zone on the next floor down and talk to my team. I might be there as well. Hit me up. We want to hear the feedback. This is how we talk about configuration of the organization, how we are configured. Let me go to another part, which is innovation. Innovation every day, and that's, in my opinion, the enable section, right? We gotta constantly innovate ourselves. How do we work with you? How do we actually provide better value? How do we provide faster responses in support? This is what I say is our commitment to innovation, which is the enabling that Jim talked about. And I give you a few examples, which I'm really happy, and it kind of shows the open source culture at Red Hat. Our commitment is for innovation. I'll give you a good example, right? If you have a few thousand engineers, and you empower them. You kind of set the business framework as in, hey, this is an area we got to do something. You get a lot of good ideas, or you get a lot of ideas, and you got to shape them into an area that, hey, this is really something that brings. Now, a few years ago, we kind of said, or I said, it's like based on a lot of feedback, is we got to get more and more proactive with you customers. So I shaped my team and I shaped it around how can we be more proactive. It started very simple, as in like from K-based articles or knowledge-based articles in getting started guides. Then we started a tool that we put out called Labs. You've probably seen them if you're on the technical side, really taking small applications out for you to kind of validate, is this configured correctly, is that configured? That was the start. Then out of that, the ideas came and they took different turns. And one of the turns that we came out was Red Hat Insights that we launched a few years ago. And did you see the demo yesterday that in Paul's keynote that they showed how something was broken with one of the data centers, how it was applied to fix and how it's changed? This is how innovation really came from the ground up, from the support side, and turned into something really being a cornerstone of our strategy. And we're keeping it married from the day-to-day work, right? You don't want to separate this. You want to actually keep that the data that's coming from the support goes in that, because that's the power that we saw yesterday in the demo. Now, innovation doesn't stop when you set the challenge. So we did the labs, we did the insights, we just launched a solution engine called Solution Engine. Another thing that came out of that challenge is in how do we break complex issues down that it's easier for you to find a solution quicker. It's one example. But we are also experimenting with AI. So Insights uses AI, as you probably heard yesterday. We also use it internally to actually drive faster resolution. We did in one case with an AI bot, basically, that we get to 25% faster resolution on challenges that you have. The beauty for you, obviously, it's, well, this is much faster. 10% of all our support cases today are supported and assisted by an AI. Now, I'll give you another example of just trying to tell you the innovation that comes out if you configure and enable the team correctly. K-based articles or knowledge-based articles, we create thousands and thousands every year. And then I get feedback as in, well, they're good, but they're in English. As you can tell, my English is perfect, so it's no issue for that. But for many of you, it's maybe like you want to read it in Japanese. So we actually did machine translation because it's too many that we can do manually. We're using machine translation. I can tell as a funny example, 2 weeks ago I tried it. I tried something from English to German. I looked at it, the German looked really bad. I went back, but the English was bad. So it really translates one-to-one, actually, what it does. But it's really cool. This is innovation that you can apply, and the team actually worked on this, and really proud on that. Now, the real innovation, though, is not these tools. The real innovation is that you can actually shape it in a way that the innovation comes, that you empower the people. That's the configure and enable. And what I think as well is important is don't reinvent the plumbing. Don't start from scratch. Use systems like containers on OpenShift to actually build the innovation in a smaller way without reinventing the plumbing. You save a lot of issues on security, a lot of issues on reinventing the wheel. Focus on that. That's what we do as well. If you want to hear more details, again, go in the second floor. Now, let's talk about the engage that Jim mentioned before. What I translate that engage is actually engaging you as a customer towards your success. Now, what does commitment to success really mean? And I want to reflect on that on a traditional IT company shows up with, you talk to a salesperson, solution architect works with you, consulting implements the solution, it comes over to support, and trust me, in a very traditional way, the support guy has no clue what actually was sold early on. It's what happens, right? And this is actually, I think at Red Hat better that we're not so siloed. We don't show our internal silos or internal organization that much to that. We engage in a way, it doesn't matter from which team it comes. We have a better flow. than that. You deserve how the sausage is made, but we can never forget what was your business objective early on. Now, how is Red Hat different in this? And we are very strong, in my opinion, you might disagree, but we are very strong in a virtual account team, right? Really putting you in the middle and actually having a solution architect work directly with support or consulting involved and driving that together. You can also help us in actually really embracing that model if that's also other partners or system integrators integrated. Put yourself in the middle, be around. That's how we want to make sure that we don't lose sight of the original business problem. Trust me, reducing the hierarchy or getting rid of hierarchy and bureaucracy goes a long way. Now, this is how we configured, this is how we engage, and this is how we are committed to your success. With that, I want to introduce you to John Alessio that talks more about some of the innovation done with customers. Thank you.